shot me. And I died, and then that movie also had a first-person shooter sequence in it. And that was like, if you're a game enthusiast, this would be the part of the movie that made you go, I think it was kind of cool. It looked very much like a game. There was a gun in the foreground, and the whole, you're following down the hallways, and you're actually you're the lead guy. In that sequence, I was 2 Morgan creatures that came running up and going, So I got shot and killed 4 times in that movie. So if you don't like me today, go rent Doom. You will. So shortly after that, I got a phone call about. Anybody see? I got on the same day. I booked 2 movies in one day. One of them was a little movie called Benchwarmers. Anybody see Benchwarmers?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Benchwarmers is like, this crazy little baseball little league movie. It's very American kind of a thing with Rob Schneider, David Spade, and John Heater, the Napoleon Dynamite kid. Love him. And I played. You have no idea what I played in that movie, do you?
No.
Of course not. Because John Lovitz was in the movie. He played this eccentric billionaire who financed this little league team for the adults. And John Lovitz had a lot of gadgets in his house, and one of them was his robot butler, number 7. That was me. Yes. In this hard case, I was in a position like this the whole time, on wheels, and I was driven around by a puppeteer. So I had no control over where I went in the room and what I bumped into. And, again, encased in a mask and everything. And they did use my voice in that. Lunch is on the way, Mr. Carmichael. So, number 7. The same day that I looked back, I got an email from my favorite director in the world, Guillermo del Toro. This email said, "Hello, Doug. I am in Spain preparing my next movie. I want you to be in it. It's called Pan's Labyrinth." And he said, "There's a fawn character that nobody can play but you." I'm reading this thinking, oh, that's intimidating. When a director of his stature says, nobody can play this part but you. But my first thought is, I'm going to fail him. You know what I mean? Oh, God, such pressure. And he said, there's also a role for a character called the Pale Man. I want you to play him too. And that's when I thought, yeah, you cheap ass, you want a second character for free. I know you. So he attached a script. He wanted me to read it that day and get back to him that night. Okay, guess now I know what I'm doing today. Oh, why do you keep picking up? I like to dance. So, I read this script called Pan's Labyrinth, or in Spanish, El Laberinto del Fauno. And, of course, I had the English translation of this script. And I read it, and by the end of I turned the last page, and I went, I have to be in this movie. Oh my gosh. It was one of the best scripts I'd ever read in my whole life. And so I emailed him back in Spain, and I said, yes, of course, I would thank you so much. Just the day before, I read some horror movie that was all slasher, blood, and guts, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. So this coming the next day was like, angels singing to me, right? So, then I realized something, though. It's like, oh, his email said that Pan's Labyrinth was going to be in the Spanish language. Oh, no. I don't speak Spanish. No habla español. So I remembered, of course, reading the script, like, all this blocks of dialogue that the fawn had to speak, right? All the exposition of the entire movie was the fawn saying, hello, little Ophelia. You are a princess in the underworld. This is where you come from. Your father is the king. There you must rejoin him. And you have 3 tests to pass to get through the portal, the one that's left. A lot of information that had to be spit out in this archaic form of Spanish. I can't do that, right? So I told Guillermo del Toro, I'm terrified. I can't. And he said, don't worry, my friend.
You can count to 10 for all I care, and I'll dub over it later.
So while that was comforting a little bit to know that I couldn't ruin this film, I thought, like, ooh, I can't leave him with my mouth going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Could I? With him having to dub over that, it would look like a bad, a Japanese Godzilla movie dubbed in English. It would be awful. So unless you like that, those Godzilla, I'm offending people left and right. So I ended up learning the Spanish language for that film. I had a Spanish script and an English script, so I could figure out what the translation was and broke it down word for word, and I actually learned the language of that film. So that if they did dub over me, they could at least have some lip sync to do it with. And by the end of the film, I was told that my Spanish was flawless. That's what they told all of the Spanish that we filmed in Madrid, Spain. And they told me that, like, oh, wow, your Spanish is really perfect. I don't know why they need to dub over it. Really, it's wonderful. And I was like, really? But by that time, of course, Guillermo had already picked his voice person to do that, and he could direct the nuances of the language that I couldn't hear with my own American ear. So that was one case of dubbing over that I was okay with, Then after that, I had another opportunity come up. The same makeup creature effects shop that did my Abe Sapien makeup for Hellboy. They were working on a new character for another comic book movie. Uh-oh, this was going to be a big one. It was like, oh, hush, 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 hush. Doug, can you come in and meet with us to do a fitting? We can't tell you what it's for yet, okay? So I go into this costume fitting, and I'm looking at designs of this beautiful, seamless, bald Silverman. And I'm like, wait, what is this? And they're like, have you ever heard of the Silver Surfer? Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer was about to film, and they wanted me to play the Silver Surfer. I'm like, you gotta be crapping me! So I didn't know much, and the thing was, I didn't know that much about the Silver Surfer. Unlike some of you in this room, I didn't have a history with comic books when I was younger. So I went to a comic book store that same day in Burbank, California, and I talked to I went up to the pale-faced kid behind the counter. Because they're all pale-faced. They are. They don't see the daylight. They don't. Bless his heart. But I said, okay, Silver Surfer, what do you have about him? And the guy's like, ooh, I love the Silver Surfer. So I went home with like this pile of Silver Surfer stuff, and saw his origins in the Fantastic Four comic books, and then him spinning off to his own comic books. And that's when I fell madly in love with the Silver Surfer. I was looking at his origins and his history, and looking at how he was drawn by Jack Kirby in those first comic books, and how he was written by Stan Lee. Oh, Stan Lee, is he a god among men? Oh my goodness. So the way the Silver Surfer spoke so poetically and so philosophically about humanity and Earth and the human condition and all of that, it was just like, oh, what a brilliant, wonderful, wonderful character to play. So so this process, if any of you saw the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, anybody see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good, a bunch of you. Thank you. Thank you. What you ended up seeing, it was different than any character I'd played before, because it was kind of a combination of practical effects, which meant I wore a makeup and costume that looked like the Silver Surfer every day, mixed with computer graphics. So it was visual effects and practical effects put together in the same character. I've never done anything quite like that before. And he was beautiful, wasn't he? Oh, the Silver Surfer. I had the best ass. I did it. I don't realize that's why I'm sitting down right now. I don't want to show you. But okay, there it is. Thank you. I'm a skinny fellow. I am. The Silver Surfer, I got to wear this beautiful muscle suit and this mask makeup that transformed me into like chiseled, handsome man. Oh, I wanted to keep the suit and just wear it to the beach. I did. So the conception was that this was all computer generated character, but it wasn't. It was a computer enhanced character. So I was on set every day with my silver bits on, and with rehearsed dialogue and action sequences. And then they did some digital enhancements over me later. Now, there are also some sequences in the film, much like Spider-Man, when Tobey Maguire puts his, mask down and goes jumping between buildings. That's not him between the buildings, you know that, right? But you can tell sometimes that CG kind of it's like, okay, that might be a computer-generated moment there. Well, the Silver Surfer had many of those as well, yes.